Hello again, YouTube. This is Truth Man, aka Prophet Howard. Let's talk about what I know and how heaven has been described in the Bible, in the other books, in the current world. Now, we can start with the current world. So, it's a reason why NASA keeps creating more powerful telescopes, because they're looking at something out there. Now, it's already been leaked, and I've showed people myself what they call the New Jerusalem, which they see and saw in the Hubble telescope. Basically, when they magnified it, it was a whole luxurious town floating outer space. So when they did the illustration, when they drew the pictures, they created this town. They say basically the illumination of the town, or whatever this is, this floating out of space. It appears that the streets were paved with gold. Now, we read that in the Bible. Like, we read that about the pearly gates, about the 12 gates, and the streets being paved with gold, and this, that, and the other. And I look at it like maybe the Most High is trying to show people and give them some type of visual, just to be fair about it, because some of y'all being stupid. Like, y'all ignoring the Most High. Y'all act like y'all gonna live forever. You act like you gonna escape his wrath and come in judgment without humbling yourself and bowing down and acknowledging your own sinfulness and shortcoming. So, I'm just keep driving. So, they talk about it. The lady who talked about it, who named it New Jerusalem, said, we found where God lived, this, that. No one knows where she is to this day. But now they have an even more powerful telescope. And I looked at some of the pictures on their old telescope. I said, that looks like a bunch of people sitting at a table. Now, picture this. Like, I saw a picture, like you can go on it yourself, pictures of outer space through the Hubble telescope. It looked like a bunch of people that were all practically any color you could think of smoke, just sitting around a table. And it was weird. And it gave me the visual. Now, I had my own dreams through the years, but just to see this, like, it gave me my own visual all over again, like what I read in Revelation chapter 21 and 22. But then I've been doing research through the years, and you know how it says the Son of God said, in my house there are many mansions. So I did some research on the word mansion. And the word mansion means moon. So I'm thinking like, okay, the moon, what if these stars that we look at every night are moons? And so I did some research on the stars, and some of the stars are practically just as big as the earth. They're just so far away, they appear to be small. So I'm like, okay, then this makes it seem like when people receive their reward, they're going to have their own kingdoms basically in heaven. And everybody going to answer to the number one king, but they're going to be the king of their own little space. Like, and you may, like, let's say you did a lot of things that the Most High rewarded, and he gave you your own kingdom. Somebody else, they made it, but their behavior wasn't the best. So he made them subject to you and your kingdom. Like, that's how it might be. Some of your enemies, if they make it, they might end up being subject to you and your kingdom. I mean, if you know anything about how the Most High thinks and how he does things, you understand what I'm saying. Like, you Your enemies may be, and remember the book of Daniel, how it says that we coming back, paraphrasing, we coming back, and the saints, those of us who come back with them, are going to have some input. So all these people who think they rich, you nothing, you a bum, you all this cyberbullying, all this stuff, you liable to be subject to that person in the afterlife if you make it. Now we're gonna do one on hell too, but a lot of y'all, you don't do enough research. You too busy trying to have sex. You too busy trying to floss, trying to stunt. You too busy putting other people down. What they don't have, you don't help them. You just talk behind their back. But a lot of this stuff, you don't have to answer for that. Remember, that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. So you always have to be careful how you treat people. Remember how I say you could be entertaining angels unaware. So we got to be careful, man. Like how we do things, how we treat people. But the devil wants us to focus only on earthly wealth. What profit of a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? We should be prosperous. We should seek prosperity, but we should keep it in its proper perspective. We should keep it in its proper perspective, and we should understand that it doesn't end here. And that's why he allows us to see some things. The Most High allowed CERN. He said, okay, I'm going to allow it. I'm going to give them a little something to think about. So he allowed CERN. So, it's a lot at stake here. Everybody want peace. You'll never get it in the earth. As long as the devil roam free, there'll never be peace. But if you make it up there, you're going to have peace. There's a lot of people resting right now. Like, you know how you're resting, but you're not asleep. Like sometimes you sleep, sometimes you rest. Who knows if they're asleep? I don't believe they're asleep. I believe they just rest. The people that already made it. Now, ask yourself this. All these bragging people on YouTube, I made a video about that earlier. Is any of these cars, clothes, shoes, this sex from these look good on the outside, but in the inside got all type of STD women? Is it worth losing your soul? Because you don't realize this is what I want you to do in closing. I want you to look at some of those pictures on the Hubble telescope. Type in New Jerusalem, Hubble telescope. Start doing some research as to what's been seen in the other dimensions of the galaxy. And then compare to what you see right here. Murder. People, I got this degree, I got that degree. People still getting killed every day. So how is your degree stopping things? How are you changing the world? I got this degree. I did this, I did that. How are you changing the world? So, we know that the streets is paved with gold. We know that it's pearly gates. We know that it's lavish. The Most High revealed to me through a rhema word. He said, basically, I'm paraphrasing it. Actually, it's not really a paraphrase. He said, if these cars, the cars that y'all love so much, drove on the streets of heaven, they would fall apart. The Bugatti, the Bentley, you try to drive that in heaven, the whole car just going to disintegrate. It's going to fall apart. because it's not built to drive on those streets. See, you got to realize heaven is like 1,000 years away. You know how it might take you 12 hours to get to Texas or 13 hours from Milwaukee? Well, if you were able to drive to heaven, it would take you 1,000 years to get there. But to the Most High is just one day. One day is as 1,000 years. 1,000 years are as one day. That's why they call it the day of the Most High. Because it's going to be like 1,000 years to us. And that's why when you read in the book of Revelation, how once the devil is released, she going to be thrown back in for 1,000 years when we all come back. So you got to know how to interpret scripture. You got to know how to do your own personal research. And based on my research, the Most High is being fair and just and allowing people to gain visuals, allowing people to understand that there's other realms, portals, different things that we don't understand in our earthly life. He's giving us the visuals. He's no longer, the more days go by, the less the Most High God's existence becomes or is a mystery. So just think about that. And we're going to talk about what's been revealed about the darkness next. Thanks for watching.